Welcome to the Archotechs, a RimWorld fluid ideology series about pursuing the Archonexus. Episode 34, Drone Hack. To briefly recap last episode, we added in a nutrient-paced machine up here for the prisoners. That will allow me to feed them a lot more easily. But what we need to do is we need to roof it up so that the potatoes don't deteriorate, as they are going to be registered as outdoors. So that will be one of the first things I do. We had yet another stupid march of idiots heading towards our fire maze, and, well, the maze works. Maze works real well. So I have to clean up that, which is a bit obnoxious. And then I have all of their weapons and whatnots to haul as well. One of the things I'm going to do is to set up all of my slaves to high priority haul so that we can clean up this mess quickly. We had Bunny bring 2 slaves up to Lindsay City to sell, and then bought some stuff at Rosslesfrom, and she is headed home now. This episode, I'm hoping to do another orbital drone hack, probably sell off additionally 2 more slaves, because I don't think that the tribute collector is coming. One of the things I wanted to mention about the tribute collector is it can bug out, and I think in this case it has. I don't think the tribute collector is going to arrive anymore. They tend to arrive a few times at the beginning of a new colony, and then they sort of like don't anymore. I don't know why. It's just a pattern I've seen in the code, and maybe I'll raise that as an issue with the developers. I haven't really thought about that, but I do think that might be worth suggesting that they fix, because I'm pretty sure it's broken. Something else I'd like to do is for Trustin to start using more of this thrombophor for better clothing. It is not that likely that I'm able to make recon armor anytime soon, because I haven't found plasteel yet. There's other ways to get plasteel, like I could caravan off of this map tile and settle an adjacent tile and mine their plasteel like that, but I'd rather just deep drill scan for it. I don't want to have to go work too hard for that. So, to that end, I'll just have Sven lower his priority for meditation and raise his priority for scanning. Another thing I wanted to mention is it might be worth me looking into potentially setting up the meditation spots instead of the throne to be art. So art focus meditation is the fastest, but it's very, very difficult to obtain. Because you need, oh, there we go. Plasteel found just down here. Wonderful. Wonderful. And it's close enough to my colony that I probably don't even need to run. I don't need to install a battery out there or anything like that. All right. I am happy about that. All right, a bare minimum sort of setup box with a light, and we'll be good. So now that Bunny's home, she has a psychic harmonizer, so it's very dangerous to keep her at low mood. Luckily, she's also bloodlust, so it's very easy to raise her mood, which is what I'm doing now. When you're on caravan a long time, unless you have drugs or things like chocolate, it's very hard to keep people happy because they basically don't have recreation when they're out on caravan. So it's in my best interest to, as soon as they get home, to basically recreate, as much as possible. So Sven, now that we have the deep drill location for plasteel, let me go back to research. And Sven is starting to make industrial meds, which is great because I ran ridiculously low on that. having done all of the bionic and implant surgeries. So Sven can make some quick meds. Looks like he needs a meal, though. Bunny's mood has bounced back, unsurprisingly. And I'm going to start installing these learning assistants as soon as someone goes to sleep. So the tribal weapons here, let me haul into temp weapons, and I'll expand temp weapons. And Ambigo got knocked out, yeah. All right, Trustin is asleep. Trustin is going to be the first one with the implant, so let's set him up with a learning assistant made by, or installed by Sven. And now that we're starting to make bulk industrial tech meds, I'll raise everybody's med expectations and qualities. Looks like Trustin did a good job starting to set up the mining station. Now, the miners would likely be slaves. It's possible that it's Bunny, but it's likely slaves. So if it's slaves... In fact, let's get 2 drills. If it's slaves, I don't so much care about the quality of the room, but it's always possible to put art in there. So, speaking of art, because I got sidetracked, legendary quality art and masterwork quality art significantly raises the rate at which you can gain psi focus. So it might be worth moving my best art into one room and seeing if its psi focus speed is good enough to be the way we gain psi focus. So I'll compare and contrast once this is done, but it requires at least 1 legendary art piece. And I believe I have one. Maybe I don't. Maybe I'm jumping the gun. Let me make sure that I have a legendary first. It doesn't require a legendary, but the benefit is biggest once you have a legendary art piece as a anchor point for the prayer, for the meditation, I should say. No, maybe I don't have a legendary yet. Okay, well, I'm sure I'll get that pretty soon here with no luck. Provided that no luck does not live up to the name of no luck. Alright, Bunny, I would like you to kill off some more of the people that are in the fire maze, because they are preventing me from cleaning up entirely. And, whoops, we have a solar flare. Okay, there we go. All corpses out. Now, it's probably going to be easiest if I set the drills up here and then move them, rather than build them out here. Set them up where the resources to build them exist. It's faster. And Bunny, I'm going to send you to go back to Lindsay City with some slaves. Or some prisoners. So I'm going to take the 2 most expensive prisoners. Bryce, Bunny, a bucket of fine meals. In fact, a whole lot of fine meals. Let's take all of them. I'll have my my slaves make more fine meals. And food for the donkey. Some meds. And now is the chance to sell off a whole lot of garbage that I don't really need, hoping to exchange it for something more valuable. So I am going to bring all of these tribal weapons that obviously have basically no value. And this is more about cleaning up than making profit. And then we'll grab the clothing that nobody wants and nobody will ever wear again. Likely. And we'll have a bit of a fire sale. Okay, and the corsets. I'm not going to bother bringing silver. I don't think they've restocked since, so this is more about offloading two more prisoners, which is one of those things that we're going to do periodically, than actually making money. If I take a look at Lindsay City, yeah, they don't restock for a while, nor does Rosslesfram, and I don't really have any other local trading partners because nobody else likes me. So let's... Oh man, I grabbed all the bows. So it's going to be a little while for that to load up into the caravan, because it is quite a lot of running around. So there's the 2 drills. Then we'll just move to reinstall. And Trustin's going to get the rest of this little hut built. This hut is so that if raiders come, there's not really a possibility that the drills get targeted to be destroyed. That's what this is for. Keeps the drills from being attacked, more or less. So Bunny's on her way, and these 2 slaves now should be given fine and simple meals, because if they start to starve, their value drops. And we have a prison break of 5. Solar flare ended, and the prisoners are like, all right, now's the time, now that the enemies have their turrets back online. Yeah, they're not exactly the smartest prisoners in existence. Let's see here. Sven is standing right here. So I'm just gonna use berserks to put these slaves down. So let's go ahead and make sure Sven doesn't open fire on them. Or prisoners, rather. I keep interchanging the 2. So you berserk. Fieldy. And then go back to whatever you were doing. This should be pretty fast. I like how his Berserker Rage came to an end, and he's still like, alright, I still want to punch you, though. Yeah, let me not clog the door. Come on, Zigo. Come on out. Yep. And now it's the beatdown. Yep, and prison break is over. Berserk makes prison breaks really easy, because you can have them turn on one another. Very, very simple. Look at all the slaves eating. Alright. Well, that got solved. And now we just have an immense amount of cleanup. So with everything that has already been hauled, let me reduce the haul priorities so that some of the slaves can clean. And Zleb, I'm going to have you grab the Molotovs and burn up some of the bodies because you were already idle. It doesn't matter. You weren't working on anything. Before I start torching these bodies, let me remove it from a home zone so that nobody comes and tries to put the fire out. And then Sven, I'm going to want to do the Psychic Reader and the Learning Assistant in you tonight. So how is your rest? You're not actually all that tired yet, so I'll suspend this until you are. So Bunny is about a day and a half away with 3 days of food, so she should be fine. The other thing that I could do to speed up this caravan is... I don't think that these guys... Oh no, they do buy bows. Okay, interesting. They don't, and no one buys tainted clothing. So the tainted clothing here can be thrown out. So if I go through and see this tainted clothing, it will speed up the caravan a tiny bit, because this tainted clothing does have weight, but it's valueless to everybody. So there's really no point in even bringing it to them. It was more about just cleaning up the map tile. And that lowers the caravan's burden. There are still some weapons that just didn't get added to the caravan. So what I could do is I could put these in temp weapons with the intention of burning them. So I'll put the bows and pillows back in this stockpile so that we could just torch it. Alright, Mr. Sven, we are going to get that surgery in you now. Also looks like my beer, finally, I've been out of beer for a long time. My beer's ready to go. And the second surgery. So now Sven will likely be the best trader in the colony again. Topping Bunny. But they're pretty comparable to one another. And that's more or less by design so that I can use them interchangeably for trade caravans and the like. Both have rank to go to the Shattered Empire, the Empire of the Moon, and trade with them because you need to be at least a dame or a knight. And then they both have ridiculously high trade skills, so works out. So when Bunny gets home from the slave or the prisoner sale, we will go ahead and call in the drone hack. So here is the awful little room to mine up plasteel. And looks like, yeah, it's getting manned now. I have 4 slaves that are all potential miners. So that's really great. Alright, Sven is going to learn invisibility. So that both he and Bunny can go invisible. And I have a cold snap. That sucks. Cold snap sucks because my double strand, I have a lot of crops that are at risk. Like almost all the crops out here are at risk. But the double strand is definitely the most important, so YouTube, stop it. In fact, in order to stop... Oh, one of the things I could do is actually just set them inside. That's probably the easiest solution. So that everybody stops basically what they're doing, and then any of the slaves that aren't growers can be unrestricted from the inside zone. But this sets my slaves up to start harvesting. So instead of sowing, quit sowing. We're going to start harvesting the devil strand. I don't think that this devil strand is going to live, in other words. So it's important to start pulling it out of the ground. Now that means that these entire fields are going to die off thanks to the cold snap. And really everything but the chocolate and the heel root will probably die. It's too bad the cold snap hit, but can't be helped. Just the way it is. My kitchen's a little dirty. Somewhat worried about the food poisoning risk, so micromanage to clean there. Yeah, alright, it's already freezing, so I made the right call to harvest the double strand. Definitely made the right call. No legendary artwork pieces yet, so we're not going to have that ideal meditation room yet. But it's still hopeful that it happens. It's getting pretty chilly. So the other thing that I might need to worry about is heat for the leftover prisoners. Also, because 2 of these prisoners are now headed to market to sell, let me close off 2 of these rooms to combine them so they all have bunk mates. So I'll have to keep an eye on whether they become hypothermic or not. Oh man, look at all that double strand. And it's getting down to crops die off temperatures now. Okay, so that is done. Let's go pull the zoning restrictions. And then I'll allow sowing, even though it's relatively pointless because it's too cold. It's just for later. And there we go, yep. Exactly as I feared. Moments after we finished harvesting everything that could be harvested, the great die-off occurs. Which is a bummer, because this was going to be an enormous amount of corn. Potatoes are obviously dying off as well. But I did make the most that I could, I think. I could have harvested a little bit more corn, but it might be a little late now. Or potatoes. Nope. I'll raise plant cut over grow. Well, the storyteller clearly did not want me to have double strand, and I disagreed. And it worked in my favor. So now with all this double strand, we will go ahead and make a ton of clothing for sale. I think I'm also going to use the Thrumblefer exclusively for armor. So I'm going to do Thrumblefer only clothing now. Let me go back to that bill. Only allowed ingredients. There we go. Yep. So we'll make 2 Thrumblefer dusters, a Thrumblefer shirt, and 2 pants. And have no luck and trust in both production command one another. And that will be really, really fast. So before we sell to Lindsay City, I am going to strip the slaves, because they don't really affect the price, and trade. Now, Lindsay City doesn't have any money, but I could definitely find something worth buying, like advanced components and components, for instance. So I'm not definitely going to buy that stuff, but maybe. We'll see. Skill trainer mining, that would be really good as well. So we'll see what I can afford at the end of this. And what I can carry, because that also matters. Oh, good. There we go. So we've broken even, and I could call it quits here. Which I might do. I'm going to buy a telescope. 3 silver. Really? Just 3. Can I fudge that in some way? Yeah, I could sell some agave. Perfect. Perfect trade. So there we go. West Hinia. Rep has gone up. I do have some corsets left, obviously. And I can trade with Rosslesfrim again. I could also trade with the... I don't think these guys buy corsets. No, they might. Jackets, prestige robes. I actually don't see... Oh, corsets. Yeah, let me try that. I'm going to trade with Blue Swamp. I'm not very friendly with them, but I'm not technically hostile. I don't think they're going to really have anything I want to buy, but they're closer than Rosslesfrim, and that gets Bunny home sooner, which is probably a good thing because she's kind of out of... Oh, no, she has food. But I'd like to do the drone hack, so the sooner I get that done, the better. Trying to think if there's any side casting that would aid slave 4 and to put these guys down. It kind of isn't. Come on. Oh, good punch. Good punch. I'm going to just have Sven do the tending because he's really fast at doctoring. And that will allow the slaves to do more hauling. Oh, there's not much to haul because we just lost all the crop. There is some corn up here that I could harvest early. But as we're moving towards summer, we might not lose more to the cold snap. I'm not sure about that. All right, so another thing I'd like to do is Sven make tons of meds. We're also going to see a whole lot of the people switching their clothing because I'm making a wonderful amount of thrombophor. And as a result, I'm going to need to re-dye a bunch of clothing. Ooh, legendary thrombophor down. Wow. Getting those legendaries, huh? Okay, so this is the tribals. They have a lot of silver, surprisingly. Yeah. I like this trade. I could go with another shock lance, but I prefer incendiary lances over shock lances, so I'm going to hold off. I'll also buy their gold. Okay, perfect trade. Tons and tons of silver, which opens up opportunities for me to make a lot of money, or buy a lot of things, I should say, on next. So Bunny's the only one that needs a learning assistant left, and I'll get her that learning assistant when she gets home. Does look like the cold snaps dropped enough that maybe I'll have another crop die off. I'm certainly not going to be able to sow anything, though. And then the other thing I'm looking for is whether or not these guys are dying due to hypothermia. Doesn't seem like it yet. This is going to be one of the most absurdly adorned with art rooms in the history of RimWorld. The amount of masterwork, art, it's getting to be a little ridiculous. In, like, a good way. Okay, so these slaves are, I think, hauling? Yep. Good. Good, good. We're making plenty of industrial meds. We're going to run out of naturamine before we run out of cloth or herbal. Just totally fine by me. And Buddha Man on a work frenzy, which is great, because that means a lot more mining. Now, I am starting to... Oh, cold snap is over. Great. I am starting to get some additional plasteel. So one of the things I could do with this plasteel is make prestige armor. That would be really good. So I'm going to get 2 prestige armor for... And we'll force this to make with trust, and I don't think anyone else could even make it even if they wanted to. But we'll get prestige armor crafting for Sven and Bunny, because Sven and Bunny have royal clothing requirements. And armor is going to be a lot better than their cloaks and robes. And then after we get that armor going, we'll get helmets for everybody. Because the helmets that we have are not ideal either. And that's something that we could work on too. And just setting up everyone for proper clothing dyes. Now that I've produced most of the clothing that we wanted, I'm down to only 3 Thrumbo fur, so I don't suspect that we're going to make any more Thrumbo fur clothing unless Thrumbos show up. And autocannon turrets are done. Let's go for Circadian Influence. I wouldn't mind having some sleep aids, if you will, implanted in our brains. Sounds pretty good. And Bunny is home. Is home with tons of silver and a telescope, which is another recreation type that we don't have. So I think what I'll do is remove the roof over, let's say, here, and stick the telescope in that spot. So it is growing season again. And pretty soon Sven will have work drive for Trusted. We have a lot of unloading on Bryce to do. Some of the corsets that no one could afford, and a whole lot of silver and advanced components, which is great. The additional advanced components means that Trusted doesn't have to manufacture them, which is a bit of a burden. And they are making a decent amount of plasteel. Of course, we're given Trustin's speed at crafting, he's going to grind through the plasteel backlog far faster than they can manufacture it. But at least this node here has a good few thousand. Maybe not maybe even a few thousand. Let me check. 9. Yeah. That's like almost 2,000 plasteel or so. That will be good for at least some armor. Just making sure that I allow sewing everywhere. So some of the Devil Strand out here didn't die off, which is pretty lucky. A lot of it did. And we have yet another prison break. Man, these prisoners really are asking for it. Okay, everybody's prison breaking. Got it. I'm gonna have Sven and Bunny come out here with their berserks, so that I don't have too many wounded prisoners. I'm just going to have the prisoners beat up the prisoners if I can. Oh, well, thank you, Ambigo. Yeah, in fact, just go back to work. My 2 sidecasters will just totally negate this prison break without really any interference. Now the only... well, I'll take that back. You 3 go after Raka. Because Raka's not close enough to anyone else to get berserked. What are you, literally breaking out? Okay, this is ridiculous. You don't get to break my walls. Alright, Bunny, you can go back to work. I think the few slaves that have not been suppressed will get knocked out. So Raka's getting knocked out now. And then I'm sending my hit squad over to Lobster. This is a ridiculously large prison break. It's kind of funny because everyone's just getting knocked out. I'm not even entirely sure that these guys are still trying to prison break anymore. But I'm beating them up anyway. Nope, Ferret is still trying to prison break because he just knocked out Slave 5. And there we go. I think the prison break is now over. I have no idea about injuries, but at least no one died. Haven't lost any value. I am still very much seriously considering removing legs because I'm getting a little tired of this, but I think I'm probably going to end up selling every single last prisoner before too long, so removing legs might even not be all that necessary. Okay, it also looks to me like it's getting relatively warm as it's summertime, so I'm going to move the beer into the zone that the prisoners can't get to because I think it's going to be necessary for me to remove this chimney. It's producing too much heat. Let's clear out this vent log. And then the last thing I really wanted to do is to, and close these vents, is to do the drone hack. So let's see if I can't manage to do the drone hack before the end of the episode here. As soon as everyone's up and there's daylight. Yeah, every single one broke. At least they'll be suppressed for a while, and I really didn't sustain too many injuries on my slaves because of all that berserking. And we've got our first Prestige Recon armor. Unfortunately, it wasn't Masterwork. Okay, it's way more comfortable temperature now. Seriously? I just beaten you up. Guess I have to do it again. Stupid prisoners. Stupid, stupid prisoners. So, Sven and Bunny, you guys should be able to wear Prestige. Yeah. And I don't care which one wears that recon armor. Whoever it is fine. It's probably best on Bunny because she's the huntress. But whoever it goes to is fine. And the next... Oh, a bulk trader. The next recon armor is waiting on additional plasteel. This requires 100 plasteel each, so it is relatively expensive. I think... Yeah, we have the uranium, so that's not a problem. But the plasteel is really the catch. So for trade price improvement, Bunny and Sven are basically effectively tied with fractions from one another, so it really doesn't matter who does the trades. And of course, all the courses that I've made since are all Masterwork, but the armor, nope, couldn't be Masterwork. No way. Just my luck. Yeah, literally everything I've made since is like Masterwork. Oh well. All right. Truster just went to sleep. So let's accept the drone hack. And the way these work is a drone is going to fall from the sky and land randomly somewhere on the map, and I'll have to hack it. And yeah, this is up north next to my corn. So another thing I want to do is to harvest the corn around it, because when you finish hacking a drone, it explodes. So let's harvest the corn so we don't lose it. So this is a bulk goods trader, and I really don't think they have very much because they're tribal. So I'll buy some of their their steel just so I don't have to mine it up myself. Out of convenience. I don't have that kind of money. Good enough. All right, Westinia, you're welcome. So Sven is going up here to start to hack the drone, and in 10 hours, raiders are going to show up. So Sven, let me have you eat, and then get hacking. So Bunny, I guess I'll trigger you to get the prestige armor. It actually might not be better than what she was wearing. I didn't really check. A legendary Devil Strength corset could out-punch the recon armor. I'm just not sure. Well, let's set you up for your favorite crimson colors here. So in about 6 hours or so, oh, let's not sew this. I'll make sure to rally some troops up here. And then the other thing I need to do before that is to harvest or haul this corn, because once the space drone is fully hacked, it explodes. So we're not going to want to lose too much of a crop if we can help it. So that's what I'm doing now. It's just make sure this stuff, at least most of the stuff, gets hauled away. No luck. I'm not out of blocks. There you go. Get back to art. Oh yeah. The armor was not better than what she was currently wearing. Now unfortunately, oh interesting. The double throbble for dusters enough. Yeah, she ditched the prestige armor, which is kind of hilarious. And let me just move that corn. That's good. All right, 3 hours. So let's start to move my forces up for protection. Hit the marksman command, and a raid will be coming in to try to stop me. The thug crew. So this is the pirate raid. They're not tribals. They're a little bit stronger. And they usually just enter from an adjacent map edge. So they'll probably enter from the north or the west, because I'm pretty far from the east and the south. I haven't been checking to hunt things, so looks like I need to do that again. And they'll be popping in any second now. Northwest. Well, we called it. So, looks like they're almost all brawlers, which is good and difficult at the same time. We do have Bunny that is going to be able to psycast, knock them out. There is one with a chain shotgun, so I'm going to try to psycast as much as I can to knock them out. I could call aid, but I don't think I'm going to need to. So the best thing I could do is to hit their most armored or they're best geared with berserks. And then Sven, I'm gonna pull you off of this space drone to soften them up too. So the one with the good chain shotgun is is getting taken care of. And my slaves are just absolutely swarming the rest. All right, these slaves can all return back to working because I don't think I need them anymore. Nope, I don't. But Bunny, you're bloodlust, so let's make sure that you get as many of the final kills as you can. You have killed only 2 people. So bring that number back up. Okay, looking good. That was a pretty solid space drone hack. I lost a toe. And that's about it. Those are, as far as I can tell, my only injury. My only serious injuries. Everybody else was non-serious. And then as soon as you finish up the hack, there would be additional raids, but as soon as you finish up the hack, it will give you a little bit of time to back away, and then it explodes. Bunny's going right back to her cape. So this gives you a sharp of 103. That must be better, I guess, than the recon armor. Come on now. So it gives you 30 seconds to back away, and then explodes. So it will probably take out some of this re-sown corn. A little bit of it. But that's why I harvested early. And there it is. The drone hack is done. And now we have 3 out of 5 finding the revered relic of suppression. And that, my friends, is where I'm going to leave off. Thank you for tuning in to the Archotechs, episode 34, Drone Hack. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to take part in some of the community decisions, including decisions about the Archotechs, join Discord. The link can be found at Rhadamant.com or the description of this video. Thank you so much for watching, and a special thank you to all of my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel. I'll catch you next episode. Farewell, friends.